Hey, what's going on to all of my Pisces out there? So my ring light died. It expired. Um, that was the problem in the last video, right? That I did for Aries, or the video prior to this. The ring light freaking died. So I'm trying to figure out a path out of this joint. So I got to figure out a way to get some lighting in this piece. Hold on 1 second. Okay, yeah, that'll work for now anyway. But okay, so let's get started with this thing. I'm using, hold on, yeah, might as well just turn this off. But I'm using the 8 of coins. Okay. Hold on 1 second. Let me see if I can get some quality light. All right. Yeah, I guess. So I'm using the Game of Thrones Tarot. All right. Right, you have the 8 of Cups, the Knight of Cups, the 3 of Coins, 3 of Cups, 5 of Spears, King of Coins, the Knight of Coins, the 10 of Cups, the 6 of Cups, the Hermit, the 8 of Spears, the Ace of Coins, the Ace of Coins, the Ace of Cups, back to back, the Empress, and last but not least, you have the King of Swords. Okay, so, all right, so for the Pisces, oh yeah, by the way, comment on the video, like the video, subscribe to my YouTube channel, share the video. If you'd like to contact me for personal reading, my email address as well as the prices are in the description box below as usual. Hey, get out of there. Go on. Go on. You punk. Anyway. Trying to bite my sneakers all up and whatnot. Shake my head. Anyway, so yeah, so let's get into it, right? My cat was biting my sneakers all up and all this other type of mess and all, doing all this. Anyway. So the 8 of Cups, the Knight of Cups, right? The 8 of Cups, the Knight of Cups, the 3 of Coins. What I'm seeing here for the Pisces, excuse me, is someone who's making some sort of offer to you, right? That's what the Knight of Cups represents. Someone who's making this particular offer to you, but the offer isn't necessarily serious, because the 8 of Cups shows me that prior to making this offer to you, they may have walked away, or they may have just gotten themselves out of a relationship. And this is the reason why I say a million times, you shouldn't be getting yourselves out of a relationship. Excuse me, you shouldn't be getting yourselves into a relationship when you just get out of one. The other person essentially is the punching bag. Because what usually happens is someone usually hasn't dealt with their own internal problems, right, that they've gotten from the breakup enough to actually have things be healthy for them. So what usually ends up happening is you have people who find themselves in a position where when the person just got themselves out of a relationship, they will oftentimes get with someone, right, when they're a serial dater. And when they're dating, what will happen is that they will end up hanging out with the person that they're interested in, right, hard and fast, right, but it'll be short-lived. And see, the things that the 3 of Coins, right? The 3 of Coins represents just that. The 3 of Coins represents how it is a lot of you Pisceans have to understand that this person only is trying to interact with you because they're using you as the rebound in that sense. And what I mean by that is that this person hasn't necessarily gone through their own emotional grieving period where they're actually able to go through this period where they're figuring out things for themselves as to why things went the way that they did, and they're actually ready to start dating again, or to meet new people again. So the thing is that you see this in the Three of Cups. This person is willing to hang out with you and stuff, and they're substituting the good times for the Pisces who take it, right? Pisces or Pisceans who take it, they're willing to substitute hanging out with you as an excuse, to drink, have fun, party, kick it, when what it is that they should be doing right now, especially when they're in a situation, is to essentially figure out what exactly is going on with them, as opposed to going through all this grieving and stuff like this that they're doing. So the thing is then is that the Five of Spears represents how, try to see if it doesn't make it too much better either. Right, there's not a lot of, you know what I mean, whatever. Anyway, so the Five of Spears represents how you need to see this, and you need to not be afraid of confrontation. Too often time, a lot of people find themselves in situations where they'll be too scared of confrontation. They don't want to say this type of stuff. No, you need to go ahead and say it, because if you don't say it to them, it essentially it puts you in a position where it's not going to end the way that you want, right? And why I say that is because people who are afraid, who are a little bit too afraid of confrontation, what happens is it actually ends up making the situation, there you go. It actually ends up making the situation a lot worse, due to the fact that what happens is that the person ends up, the people or the person who ends up acting as if they don't see this, right, the problem, they will ignore it, and what will happen is that the problem will find them again anyway when the person is ready to move on, and the person will act as if this is being done to them when they had all types of indications in the world that they're supposed to have seen coming, right? People will ignore really obvious stuff, and that's part of the problem, right? This is the point of my channel. This is the reason why it is that I give everybody my wisdom in these videos, is because it's not about ignoring something that's obviously in front of your face. If you do that, you're going to suffer. If you do that, you're going to continue to suffer until you learn to not do that, because there's no way in the world, right? Because I got time, right? Because there's no way in the world, Pisces, that someone is going to essentially get out of a relationship, right? Get out of a relationship and then come say something to you, right? And they haven't dealt with their own emotional baggage, okay? And things be good with you, okay? And you just scoop them up and you're like, okay, yeah, let's do it. No. If they're in the spirit of truth, if they're really going to be about, if this relationship is really going to function, if it's really going to go somewhere, if it's really going to have legs, so to speak, then you Pisces are most definitely gonna let these people learn to deal with their own emotional baggage with their friends and stuff like this, and let them get it off their chest before you say something to them. Because the thing is that the Five of Spears represents how you're going to end up having a disagreement with them, because they're going to keep showing you more and more red flags that they aren't ready to be in a relationship, by hurting you in the future, by abusing you and your presence in the future. and they're going to uptick it, meaning that they're going to do more and more and more and more until it hurts more, until you decide to actually address it. And see, this is where the King of Coins come in. The King of Coins represents you're either going to address it, right? Or Knight of Pentacles, they're going to address it. But either way it goes, the Ten of Cups represents how this is a situation where the two of you understand that the relationship was not meant to be right now anyway, because the relationship is not really built on strong legs. You know, too often times in my own life, interacting with some of these people who, you know, trying to get to know, but they just getting out of crazy relationships and stuff like this. And, you know, obviously there's nothing I can really do about that, because these is people who want to be in crazy relationships, because when I'm shooting my shot here, you know, here the person goes now, and they swearing out, they acting as if they don't know where it is that you going with this. Oh, you know, you're not my type, you're not tall enough, you're not light-skinned enough, you know, whatever that means. Oh, you know, you ain't got blue eyes, all this other type of stuff. Okay. You got it. Okay. You got it. It's not a problem. And then what happens? And then I end up being a fly on the wall, right? I end up being a fly on the wall now, because now I'm standing there, right? Fly on the wall, back up against the wall physically, right? Just leaning against the wall, watching some of these people, right? Who I was interested in, right? Because they trust me to be there. And I'm standing there rather, watching people whom I was interested in, who I would shoot my relationship shot to, go through the motions of arguing with somebody, throwing stuff, going through the motions, telling me the type of craziness, you know, telling me the type of craziness that the person is doing. So, and I'm just here looking at this like, well, you chose that individual, you know what I mean? Meanwhile, they're not seeing this, and of course I'm not going to tell it to them, because I'm not obligated to tell them. I'm stepping my game up behind the scenes, you know. So the thing is that the Six of Cups represents how the two of you may decide to link up later, right? And the two of you may know this based upon the discussion that the two of you will have. But the Hermit represents how it is that the two of you also know that right now, two of y'all are not built for a relationship. The Hermit also represents the kind of modality that the other person is in. The Hermit represents Virgo, and the Virgo represents the player. So this person, let me see if I could turn the light off, because you got this crazy light source over here. Let me see if I can thing. Yeah, that's nice. So yeah, so that's the kind of crazy situation, right? The crazy situation in the sense that what goes on here is that the person knows that they don't want to be in a relationship, and the person is trying to show you some grace by addressing it and letting you know that they're not letting you know that they're not interested in being in a long-term relationship right now, because they just got out of one, and they're in the hermit mode right now, which is Virgo, which is grieving, contemplating what is that what happened. Also, they could also be players right now, where they're interested in getting their rocks off with as many people as possible. So the Eight of Spears now, the Ace of Coins, and the Ace of Cups now, okay, the Empress, all right, the King of Swords, okay, represents how this is situation. Where does this leave you now? Okay, the Eight of Spears. This speaks to a need that a lot of you Pisceans have, a stronger need, where a lot of you Pisceans are going to have to become a lot more straightforward, okay, with this stuff, and a lot more communicative with this stuff, because y'all are just going to have, you Pisceans are going to have to become better people with this. You're going to have to actually learn the skill of verbal communication, because this is part of the reason why it is that so many people end up, part of the reason why it is that so many people end up getting hurt when it comes to being in relationships. It's the fact that there's not a lot of real, clear, concise verbal communication, because two people will end up sleeping with each other or end up having bedroom fun, same thing, right? And then they won't talk about what they are. There won't be any kind of discussion. There won't be kind of any pre-discussion or after discussion right before the event of them being with each other. But then at the same time, right, one or both of them will assume that this is a relationship now. I don't know where it is that some people get that idea from, but you're setting yourself up for failure. And don't be surprised if you really end up setting yourself up for failure, because that's kind of crazy, you know. And this is what the Ace of Spears represents. The Ace of Coins represents, make sure that you're getting something meaningful out of it before, right, before the two of you, if that's what it is that you want. If you want something long term, make sure that this person wants something long term before you actually end up having that kind of too many crazy interactions with them. I'm not saying for you not to do what you do with them, but what I'm saying is you don't want to end up doing it with them too many times, and then the next thing you know, it ends up being a crazy a crazy situation. The Ace of Cups represents how the two make sure the two of you have a certain level of love for each other. The Empress is, it's time for you to start holding yourself up to standard. See, part of the problem why it is that people end up getting played is because sometimes too many people end up shifting the standards. And what I mean when I say shifting the standards is sometimes too many people end up setting the standards for one person or one type of people, but it becomes an occasion for another person. And what happens is that those types of people end up looking really inconsistent, very inconsistent, because now it's a situation where you end up moving the goalpost so many times to the point where when word gets back and people start figuring you out in a certain particular space, and now you have a reputation for being inconsistent about your standards, now people are going to start looking at you a certain kind of way. And that's what the Empress represents. The Empress represents Libra, okay? Venus. So Libra represents justice, right, in its dignity. It represents justice. So what it's saying here is, and it's justice, because that's what I'm talking about, is that you can't complain when people come at you a certain way. You can't complain if you keep moving the goalposts. Like for me, whenever it is that I interact with whom I'm interacting with, I expect them to have honor, dignity, and integrity. Like I've gotten into serious discussions and stopped hanging out with my so-called friends because they have this mentality that, though they they probably still do. I don't hang out with them anymore, but they had this mentality that, well, this is how these types of people are in that sense, right? And it's like, that looks crazy to me, because I'm not asking anything, and I've even said this off camera, I'm not asking for anything that's rocket science. What I'm asking for is peace, love, truth, freedom, justice, equality, honor, integrity, right? Dignity, right? Courtesy. These things are not rocket science, nor are they such a crazy concept to understand that that's like, oh wow, you're asking for too much. And yet, if I bring this up, or if I'm dating for that reason, or partially because of that reason, right? basically character, me getting shamed, or like some of the people who I'm kicking it with low key looking at me a certain kind of way. No, I'm looking at you, I'm looking at them a certain kind of way, because it's like you looking at me like I'm the one who's the weirdo for trying to date someone with class, and you're okay with brushing aside crazy mentality and behavior, but I'm weird, right? Okay, so you see what I'm saying. So keep yourself at a high level. Don't stoop down. Certain things should be beneath you. And then you have the King of Swords. The King of Swords represents the King of Swords. Oh yeah, but that also explains why it is that I don't date. It's because I haven't met a lot of people personally. I'm talking about for me specifically, whom they have those qualities. I'm talking about people who I'm dating. Don't trip. I'm not saying everyone who I've ever come across, period, just for whatever reason. I didn't say that. Don't twist anything to what I didn't say, because that's another problem with people too. Sometimes people will twist things into things that you never even said, and they'll try to sound bite you. They'll try to twist things and give things a different context to the things that you actually said. I didn't say everybody. I said the people who I've dated put on a mask, and they end up not really having that honor and integrity. So that's the reason why I left them, or things didn't work out. Let me be clear on that. So the King of Swords represents how you need to learn to develop a mindset because of it too. You will develop automatically a mindset because of it. When you're being judgmental, which you should be judgmental, you most definitely should be judgmental. Everyone should be judgmental. It also sets the standard. It sets the tone. It shows everyone that you're practicing what it is that you preach in, by leaving people who are crazy and who exhibit crazy behavior alone. You're not rewarding that kind of behavior and mentality. Let's clarify the Six of Cups. You have the Six of Pentacles, the Temperance, and the Hermit, to clarify the Six of Cups. So yeah, this person right now is most definitely not interested in anything too serious. The Temperance represents you're supposed to change from this kind of experience. This experience that you have with this person is really supposed to change you into someone better. It's there to teach you this lesson of clear, concise communication and using your critical thinking. The Six of Pentacles represents you reaping what is that you sow, because the Six of Pentacles is also a justice card, because in certain other tarot decks, what will happen is that you'll find that the Six of Pentacles, the Rider-Waite, as a matter of fact, you'll find that the Six of Pentacles has the justice scales on it. Matter of fact, let me show you. Yeah, but you'll find that the Six of Pentacles, one of the people who, the person who is on the Six of Pentacles will have the justice scales, which represents Libra, on it. And yeah, that pretty much goes to show you what it is that I'm saying to you is truth, right? That I'm not capping or trying to trick you. Or here it is. You see how it is that person is holding up the scales right there. The reason for that is because it represents, yes, justice or fairness, right? But it also represents you reaping what it is that you're sowing, in the sense that part of the reason why it is that your lifestyle is the way that it is because you want it to be like that based upon your inactivity or your activity. And see, let's clarify the Empress. Matter of fact, let's clarify the Empress. Let's do it. We have the King of Cups Nine of Pentacles, Two of Wands to clarify the Empress. The King of Cups, you need to learn how to be, there will be other people to be interested in you. The King of Cups also shows that you need to learn to control your emotions when you're engaging with someone. Don't get blinded by them wanting to date you, and look at it for what it is, okay? The Nine of Pentacles, the Nine of Pentacles, learn to see the value in the relationship, okay? Not just physically. Too many people are so caught up with money when money is really the last thing that a person should be worried about, because if the person has character, as I've been saying 1,000,001 times, if the person has character, you won't have to worry about that person being broke. Why? Because if the person has character, common sense would tell them it's time to start your own business. It's only a person who lacks a certain level of character is going to allow themselves to be abused on the job and still work there, okay? So the things that the Two of Wands represents how this is a situation for the two of you, where make sure that the people in your life whom you're dating or whom you're considering seriously are people who actually want to be there and who've made the decision themselves to be there, and their heart is actually in it. Otherwise, it's not going to work. So that's pretty much it. Comment on the video, like the video, subscribe. Peace.